Hi, I'm Dr. Dana Winchester, founder of the Winchester Institute of Chiropractic Health and Wellness. As a leader in the health and wellness field, it is our responsibility to help others through community outreach and service. Our doctors take pride in educating each of our patients on a wellness model of healthcare and emphasize nutrition-based disease prevention. During this time when stress, anxiety, and fear are present, taking care of your health is most important. In this presentation, Dr. Mike Suplicki will teach you basic, empowering strategies to take control of your life. He will help you understand how to manage your stresses, allowing room for more success. Learn how diet and nutrition can play a big part in making you feel and function optimally, allowing for better stress management and becoming your best.
77% of people experience physical symptoms caused by stress, whether that's joint pain, injury, headaches, stomach and digestive pain, or even poor sleep. Hello and welcome to the Winchester Institute Community Outreach webinar series. Today's presentation is on less stress, more success. My name is Dr. Michael Suplicki, a practicing partner at the Winchester Institute. We are a preventative healthcare facility specializing in the Gonstead technique of spinal manipulation. I want to talk today about the world and how living in a state of chronic high stress is our new normal. And why is that? What has been our new normal in literally the last 11 months? And that is COVID-19. COVID-19 has completely changed on how the world operates. It is a human, economic, and social level in terms of change. That's how we work, how we're sitting at home. We're sitting longer, we're becoming more sedentary, we're not getting enough physical exercise, our unhealthy food choices, as well as stress, panic, fear, and worry, okay? All of these different types of things simply impact our what? Health and wellness, right? But I always like to talk about what is the state or what is the definition of health. For me and how I educate my patients, health is a state of complete physical, chemical, and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease. And I have this underlined, not merely the absence of disease. And why is that? And that is simply due to the fact that health is not a symptom. All right, we can't really base our health on how we feel. All right, we can see here that health is a combination of many different aspects of our lifestyle, physical, chemical, and social, and how by reducing these different types of stresses within our lifestyle and improving our overall health and wellness is a comprehensive event, right? It takes many, many different things in order to improve our overall health and wellness. All right, but let's take a step back. As I mentioned, health is not a symptom, right? What we see here, almost 45% of heart attack sufferers don't have a single symptom, all right? Almost half of all heart attack sufferers don't have any warning signs, all right? And so this is where it just adds a little bit more power to the understanding that we simply cannot wait in order for us to feel unhealthy or to feel ill or to feel some form of ache and pain in order to what? Start paying attention on our health and wellness, right? So we got to be a little bit more proactive in terms of overall reducing these preventative instances. What is the one thing that we usually do whenever we are experiencing some form of ache and pain? We go to what? The medicine cabinet, right? It's very, very simple. We've always been conditioned to, when we have some form of ache and pain, take Advil, Tylenol, ibuprofen, but we never really pay any particular attention to the side effects, right? So this is what I want to talk about is, yes, it may help with our pain, but at what cost? What we see here, so cardiovascular problems were identified from 8,400 individuals over a 13-year span from the British Medical Journal. And what we see here, increased blood pressure, increased atrial fibrillation. And I don't know if you guys know what that is, but atrial fib is when our heart is in a flutter. All right, when our heart is in a flutter, this leads to a lot of different types of complications, heart disease and cardiovascular disease. But other instances we can see is gastro problems, kidney damage, liver damage over chronic use. And I took this expert from the label of Advil. NSAIDs, except aspirin, increase the risk of heart attack, heart failure, as well as stroke, which ultimately can be fatal. All right, these are all from the label of the bottle. But what else do we use in terms of this time and period is what? Cold and flu. Okay, do we know that when we take these cold and flu over-the-counter medications, not only does it actually reduce our symptoms, but it actually reduces our function of our immune system by almost 50%. We see suppression of white blood cells, the suppression of the antibody production by upward 50%, which ultimately increases illness longevity. In other complications, when especially associated with children, we see agitation, extreme sleepiness, hallucination, rapid heartbeat. All right. There's many other ways to counteract these different types of symptoms or side effects, right? And that is curcumin or boswellia. Have you guys ever heard of either of these? Curcumin is turmeric, okay? Boswellia is actually Indian frankincense. And what we have found is that each of these different types of supplements have been found to fight inflammation as well as pain. And when taken together, these two natural compounds reduce almost all pro-inflammatory pathways in the body. All right, so this is just a simple sign where we see, other alternatives and a holistic approach to handling our aches and pains. So let's take a look at what is the first step in order to, one, become a little bit more successful and less stressful in our daily activities. And that is simply by taking care of ourselves. All right, well, what does this mean? Taking care of ourselves is simply by eating healthy, having well-balanced meals and diets, as well as exercising on a regular basis, getting plenty of sleep, as well as giving yourself a break to simply when you are feeling stressed out. Talking to others, sharing your problems and how we are feeling and coping with a parent, friend, counselor, doctor, or even our pastor has been very, very crucial and beneficial to overall reducing our overall stress, right? Avoiding drugs and alcohol. These may seem to help, but they actually increase our overall stress response. But simply, as I mentioned before, taking a break, stepping back away from our stressors, whether they're mental or physical, and taking a second, minute a day, has absolutely been very, very beneficial at reducing our overall stress, which then makes us a little bit more successful at improving our overall health and wellness. All right, so let's look at today's stresses as well as tomorrow's disabilities. So when we are in a chronic state of stress, we have increased inflammation, increased blood pressure, blood sugar, fat storage, heart and arteries, as well as decreased testosterone, muscle mass, decreased metabolism, decreased immunity, as well as decreased collagen. All right, the appearance of looking older. So when we look back, health is not a symptom. All right, we need to be proactive. We need to look at all aspects of our health at a physical, chemical, and as well as social being in order to become less stress as well as more success. So how do we do that? What I've went ahead and looked at our overall lifestyles at our major stressors, okay? Up here, I have work, relationship, as well as finances, and I categorize these as life. All right, each and every one of us in this presentation can relate on some form of stress when it comes to work, relationship, as well as finances. But all I have underneath diet, exercise, and sleep, these physical, chemical, and social aspects to our lifestyle that we are going to give you the necessary information to overall improve, to reduce the guilt. All right, that's why I have it guilty, because how many of you started a diet, New Year's resolutions, right? How many of you have become successful with them? Maybe some of us not. But the importance of this is what happens when you stray away from your diet, or you didn't make it to the gym, or you didn't get plenty of sleep. You feel what? Guilty, right? You feel more stressed out. And this is what we're gonna do, is we're gonna look at all these different types of aspects, the diet, the exercise, and the sleep, and give you the nice, necessary, simple information to start improving into your lifestyle, all right? So when it comes into taking care of ourselves, the number one first step, it also is in looking at the how, all right? It's not in the what, but in the how. Recognizing what is it in our lifestyles that is simply creating stress. All right. And then secondly is personal ownership. It's an inside job. Stress comes from me and not to me. And any stress I feel is a function of my thoughts and beliefs and not merely my circumstances. All right. How many of you have ever seen the movie Inside Out? I know I have, probably multiple times, which is okay. It is a phenomenal movie that not only children, but even adults can relate to, because what happens when they are in a stressful situation? All five of these personifications are in what? Havoc, right? No control, no stability, until somebody or one of the personalities or personifications simply stops, recognizes what goes on, and takes over the control board. But they have a plan, and then they are in control, all right? looking at it into the how and not into the what, recognizing personal ownership, planning for it, as well as I am in control, simply improves our overall abilities to start handling and taking care of our stress, all right, on a brain as well as neurological level. For instance, let's take a look at the manipulation, all right, chiropractic, real quick. The connection between the spine and the nervous system has been clinically proven to affect the way on how the brain communicates with the body. All right, we're looking at joint function, white blood cell behavior, speed, strength, joint position sense, injury risk, stress response. All right, let's go a little bit further, even behavior, planning, memory, learning, intuition, cognitive flexibility, decision-making, judgment, stress response, okay? That's just a small part of it. So not only do we help with aches and pains, but we're actually improving on how the brain functions in terms of its environment, all right? So that's enough about the adjustment. So what we gotta look at is the E plus R equals O. Events plus responses equals outcomes. What is it in terms of our response that is simply improving or we're taking to improve our overall health, stress, becoming more successful, right? So we're gonna look at the nutrition, we're gonna look at exercise, we're gonna look at sleep, and maybe a little bit of spinal manipulation to simply show these different types of responses when it comes to the event in terms of creating that simple outcome, which is what? Less stress and more success. So let's take a look at our major stressors, all right? Let's get right into the heart of it. So let's take a look at diet, all right? How many of you use diet in terms of handling our stress, right? Maybe some of us do, some of us don't. But when we are in a stressful time, what do we usually focus on? And that is highly processed foods, right? Going to fast food, getting something that's very quick and easy, because guess what? We simply don't have time to look at our overall, what? Diet, right? But time and time, literally research after research suggests simple process, refined foods increases the body's inflammatory response. All right, we see decreased attention span, reduced immunity, thinking is not focused and clear, memory is reduced, anxiousness is increased, perception of stress load is higher. All right, and this is where we have to take that necessary step to simply stop, recognize what's going on or our food choices, having a plan, taking in control of our food choices to simply what? Reduce that inflammatory response or reduce that dietary expense, right? So what we want to do is actually look at more whole, real foods, all right? I want you to kind of take a little step back and ask yourself, what is more whole, real foods? Okay, those are how I educate my patients is simply more organic food, right? More fruits, vegetables, clean meats, free range type materials or foods. And when you're at the grocery store, one of the things I always recommend to my patients is simply focusing on the outside perimeter, because that's where everything either one perishes a lot quicker or doesn't last long. And that's what you want. You don't want shelf life. You need something that is fresh, real, and whole food. All right, getting good proper macronutrient needs. Do you guys know what that is? What your macronutrients are? Our macronutrients are simply fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. All right, when we look at a very fast food or highly processed meal, it is loaded with one, refined sugars as well as changes in terms of fats. Okay, 63% of the American diet is solely focused on highly processed meals. All right, and this is where we have to change that different type of behavior to improve more whole, real foods, more fruits, vegetables, more color, more variety, to create that simple, natural multivitamin, right? We dip our hands in different vitamins and minerals that is so necessary at not only reducing our inflammation, but improving our overall stress response. More successful, right? Looking at insulin sensitivity, meal timing, all right? How many of you guys get breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Or how many of you get breakfast and then we don't really eat throughout the day because we're so stressed out or we're working or we have too many tasks, and then we eat this really big macronutrient dense meal at the end of the day? Guess what? I'm guilty of it. We all are, and that is okay. But when it comes down to having unbalanced meals, so looking at breakfast, lunch, and dinner is crucial at overall reducing our insulin sensitivity. Looking at what is it that we can create this nice equilibrium within our body to reduce our stress response, reduce our inflammatory response, to increase our overall immune system, to handle and improve our overall health and wellness, all right? Insulin sensitivity is very, very important. When we have highly processed food, our insulin is continuously being released, which over time leads into other complications like diabetes. All right, breakfast, lunch, dinner, very balanced, nutrient-dense meals. fats, carbohydrates, proteins is very, very crucial. All right, let's take a look at hydration. Hydration, why is this so important? Hydration is very, very important because guess what? This is ultimately what helps balance out our bodies, all right? The easiest way to get the best amount of water or hydration is take your body weight and convert it to ounces, and take your body weight divided by 2 and then convert it to ounces. So I'm 200 pounds. So that means I need to get 100 ounces of water on a daily basis. That's water, coffee, or tea. A combination of all of them, not simply one or the other. Do not drink 100 ounces of coffee or tea and then say like that's okay or I said it. Don't do that because guess what? You're gonna be even more tired. All right, so more water, less coffee, tea, or a combination of those is very, very important, as well as supplementation. All right, because guess what? 63% of our American diet is highly processed. And during that processed activity or process, you get nutrients, vitamins, minerals that are extracted and no longer in that food that is so important to our overall diet. All right, supplementation is meant to supplement, not to replace. All right, so more whole real foods. Meal timing is important, getting good balance between fats, carbohydrates, proteins. All right, eating on a regular basis, staying plenty hydrated, and taking supplement on a very simple cause is very, very simple to overall create more balance, less stress, creating the right response to create that outcome. So let's stray away a little bit from diet and let's look at exercise. All right, how many of you guys use exercise to handle your stress? I know I do on a regular basis, but the thing is, exercise is also physical activity. And that's where we have to kind of break the barrier, okay? Physical activity, movement is considered physical exercise, all right? And exercise doesn't really necessarily have to be performed at a gym, all right? A lot of us don't really have time, and even considering the current situation, gyms are very, very limited, right? So exercise or physical activity does not have to be performed in a gym. It doesn't have to be miserable, and it doesn't have to last 60 minutes, all right? According to the American Heart Association, they recommend 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, at the bare minimum to simply keep our lifestyle or our health and wellness and improve our health and wellness. You know how simple it is to get 30 minutes of physical activity a day? All right, I challenge my patients whenever they go or they're sitting at home working at their on their couch or at their kitchen table, every 20 minutes, get up from your table, walk around for 5 minutes, go walk to the mailbox, take your dog for a walk up and down the stairs for 5 minutes and come right back and sit at your table. All right, doing that 6 times throughout the day, guess what? You just acquired the 30 minutes a day, according to the American Heart Association. All right, yes, not only to improve our physical health and wellness, adding a little bit more moderate intensity exercise, it's by incorporating some form of resistance training, we can see actually moderate intensity or even duration regarding in terms of exercise has actually improved our overall immune system. It's an upregulator. So it increases our resistance against infection. It lowers our risk of appearance of disease as well as some certain types of cancers. And regular exercises actually increases the activity of antioxidant enzymes, which ultimately reduce the damage of DNA to our cells, reduce that negative effect or that negative environmental effect to our cells that ultimately reduce our immunity. All right, so getting regular exercise, moderate physical activity, getting up every 20, 30 minutes, getting 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week is very, very simple. All right, less guilt, getting up, moving around ultimately improves our cellular activity, our immune response, creating less inflammation, improving our overall success in terms of improving our health and wellness. All right, let's take a look at sleep. All right, how many of you guys get 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Maybe some of us do. All right, 7 to 8 hours is actually what is very, very important or actually required for our overall sleep requirement. All right, rest and recovery. Okay, sleep is very, very important at not only just boosting our immune system, boosting our metabolism, becoming an anti-ager, keeps our muscle, but it improves our immune system. All right, it's a saver. All right, so when we do go to sleep, we need to follow something called like our circadian rhythm. All right, our circadian rhythm is our body clock. Okay, I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but throughout the day, our bodies on a involuntary way or process releases different hormones and produces different types of activities. All right, so we need to follow our circadian rhythm, getting in bed by 10 or 11 up by 6 or 7, that necessary 7 to 8 hours a night to simply keep our body in a very regulated state. Reduces inflammation, it restores, it rests our cells that simply were bombarded due to that stressful response later, but it also allows our system to recover. All right, it keeps our system at a very, very nice, easy balance so that we can challenge and create and combat the next day's stressors. All right, 7 to 8 hours of sleep is very, very important. Sleep does not actually decrease when we age. All right, as we go older, honestly, it's kind of like when you're a baby. You know, babies need 14 to 15 hours of sleep a day. It kind of goes into the same type of effect later, but 7 to 8 hours is the bare minimum. All right, follows the circadian rhythm. But when you do get that 7 to 8 hours of sleep, it actually increases our DNA integrity. All right, where the DNA integrity is where the telomere caps. Okay, telomeres are protein caps on the ends of DNA that keep our DNA nice and compact. As we age, or if we don't get plenty of sleep, those protein caps degrade. All right, as they degrade, DNA expands, and then the cellular death increases. All right, so when we do sleep, it maintains our protein caps, it maintains the integrity of our DNA, which makes us appear younger. All right, that anti-ager, which is something that each and every one of us want, right? As well as no lightings, blues, greens, okay? Why do I have that in there? They actually did a study. They introduced these different types of colors to an individual in sleeping, and that they found blues, yellows, and greens actually did not allow that patient to fall into REM sleep, deep sleep. When they actually encouraged or incorporated red light, the individual or the patient actually went into REM sleep a lot quicker, stronger. They had a little bit more restful sleep. The next day, they were able to perform more proficiently on their tasks at hand. They had more energy, their memory was more sharp, and their overall perception of stress was lower. All right, so as we look at in terms of the recap, let's take a look at, our diet, recognizing what we're eating, okay? Looking at more whole real foods, meal timing, breakfast, lunch, dinner, getting good balance between carbohydrates, fats, proteins, exercise, getting up, moving around 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, very simple physical activity, walking up and down your stairs, walking to your mailbox, walking around your house, walking around the kitchen table a couple of times throughout the day is very, very simple, and not only reducing our stress response, but improving our overall immunity and health and wellness, and then getting that 7 to 8 hours of sleep. All right, getting to bed by 10, following our circadian rhythm, reducing the amount of light that we see in today's society, much like with our phones or even our TVs. All right, 7 to 8 hours of sleep, more darkness, improvements of our rest and recovery, which ultimately becomes and makes us more successful and a lot less stress. If you guys are interested in having a little bit more of an opportunity to take a deeper dive in your overall health, as well as improving your overall stress, feel free to come check us out. Most of our services are covered by insurance. That is chiropractic, soft tissue manipulation, rehabilitation, stretching, kinesiology tape, cold laser, as well as eStim, ultrasound. We also have a health coach, as well as a very integrated network with all of the medical professionals within the area, whether that's orthopedics, standard medicine, as well as surgery. Feel free to give us a look at thewinchesterinstitute.com, or feel free to send us an email at info@thewinchesterinstitute.com. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions or just simply to have a conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our webinar series. My name is Dr. Michael Suplicki from the Winchester Institute. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and not only just saying less to stress, but improving your overall success at handling not only your health and wellness, but your daily activities. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you for taking the time to watch our mini presentation. We hope you can take some of these well principles and incorporate them into your life, starting right now. At the Winchester Institute, our services are aimed at restoring complete health to your body as a whole. Let us help you replenish your mind and body by becoming a new patient. We are offering a unique $50 new patient visit to our practice. We will extend this offer through February 1st, 2021. Please use the code ONEBODY. We cannot wait to take great care of you.